Okay, it is Monday, February 22nd, 2021. It's actually my second attempt at recording this morning. I actually did a whole recording and it recorded on the wrong camera, so the entire time it looks like I'm looking somewhere else, like I'm looking like this the entire time. And I was just like, you know what, screw it, like maybe it'll be okay. But then there's a part of me that's like, no, that's weird. So let's just re-record. So this is my second attempt. Yeah, honestly, I guess because I just haven't been recording as often as I have been in the past, I've just kind of gotten out of practice, and I have this new setup now and everything like that. So that's also using a more of a high def camera in order to record. And I think that may be, anyway, it doesn't matter. I screwed up the last one, and hopefully this one will be better. That last one was like a lot longer too, so maybe you don't want to watch like a longer video of me kind of going on about stuff anyway. So I just wanted to make sure to record today. It's a Monday, and I, live most of my life with sort of the 7 day kind of model for me. Like, or for me, the 7 day model has been the weekends or days off, and Mondays are the beginning of the work week. And I kind of think about it still in that way, even though I'm not technically working. But I guess all the medical appointments and things like that that are scheduled for me are generally on the weekdays. So in some ways, it is as a professional patient where I start working on Monday. And today I do have a couple of appointments. And before I talk about those couple of appointments today, I thought that I would try something new for videos moving forward, where I list out 3 things. I'll find a subject. If you want to, if any of you out there are interested or would like to suggest a topic for me to have like 3 thoughts on or 3 points on, please list them in the comments below. I'd be really happy to be able to do that. But I figured that's something that we can try out. And so later on in the video, I'm going to be talking about 3 points or 3 changes that I have experienced in the last couple of weeks since having my PTC external drainage removed. Now, if you're wanting to suggest a topic for me to have 3 points to talk about, it doesn't have to be anything medical, it doesn't have to be anything diagnosis related or health related or anything. It could be anything. If I can have three thoughts or points on it, I'd be more than happy to give it a shot. And I think that it'll be a nice way to keep my brain uh, sharp and worked out a little bit. So that would be fantastic. So anyway, I'll be talking about my 2 appointments that I'll have going on today, plus those 3 points coming up. So 2 appointments. The first one is a psychosocial appointment, which is essentially therapy with a psychiatrist at Princess Margaret. I'm very thankful that there are a lot of resources at Princess Margaret. It's not, I'm very thankful for the circle of care that I have, the team that I have. It's not perfect. I wish that there was more of an integrative approach that they have at Princess Margaret, but that said, lots of resources, and the 2 that I'm taking full advantage of today. One is therapy through the psychosocial department, and I would have to say that in the last 5 months, since all of these things have been happening, it's only when I was able to get that one key piece filled, which is my mental health team or like mental health supports, outside of the close connections that I have, the folks in my life that love and care about me, and they're phenomenal. But there is, I think, something to also having some professional mental health supports in place as well. And especially in, well, no, it's not true. I think that in any given situation, and if you have something specialized that's going on, to have someone or people to support you who have specialized experience in what you're going through, I think could make a huge difference. And in this case, I feel like that's something that I have put together as part of my circle of care and my care team, and I think that it's been great. So I will be checking in with her in a couple of hours, and it's really really necessary. It's been really really necessary for me. So the second thing after that, I'm going to have another appointment with a new department. I don't know exactly what the department is called, but the appointment thing, it says Elixir, or the department that I'm supposed to be meeting with is Elixir, and I think it's going to be an intake, and apparently it's going to be an hour and a half to 2 hours with a kinesiologist who is going to put together a strength or physical activity program for me. And it's an 8-week program where they design something specifically for me, and they are going to support me for the next 8 weeks on a weekly basis, to see like how it's going and to get it in place and to try to have it incorporated into my life or what's going on moving forward, just so that that is also a part of my caring well-being. Because I used to regularly walk 10,000 steps a day up until quarantine coming up, right? Like the 1 year anniversary of that. And so that happened last year early on. And then by the time that I got my diagnosis, like later in the year, just like feeling like, like my body or like muscles in my body have atrophied to some degree because there's a little movement or the lack of strength. And then once I started treatment, just I've not had this experience of my body being not have the strength that I'm used to having or have been used to having. And so to have this program and to perhaps get me back on a path that allows me to feel more stronger and more myself in my body is something that I am really looking forward to. So that's something that's happening today. And I guess, so something that will be good too, also to know that it'll be incorporated into what I need to do on a daily basis. And when it comes to physical exercise, I've always felt this way, or physical fitness, or just, strength in general. I just like for somebody to tell me what to do. I'm not somebody who gets like super excited about writing down like what, I'm going to do legs today, or I'm going to do upper body, and these are the exercises, and these are the reps, and all that kind of stuff. And like, these are the combination of legs stuff I'm going to do, and there's the combination of upper body. No, I want somebody to be like, just telling me what to do. Do this. Do it this many times. And then this is the next thing we're going to do. And then this is going to do. And you're not doing that right, so do it this way. Or you're doing that great. Keep it going. I just, like, in this area for myself, like, I just love knowing that there are people that I can co-opt it to, like, whether it's a class or just working with somebody one-on-one or something like that. So I'm hoping that maybe the dynamic is going to be something more along those lines, that I don't have to do any kind of mental gymnastics to be able to get a physical program in place for me. So fingers crossed that it'll be something more akin to that. But at any rate, just really grateful for the resource and to have access to that. So that's happening in terms of the 2 appointments today. And like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I'm going to be talking about the 3 things that have changed since my external bile drain has been internalized and I no longer have a tube and bag that is permanently attached to me externally on an ongoing basis. So that's number one. That's a big deal. I had this tube that's coming out of a hole in the side of my body, and that was connected to a bag that drained bile into it. I no longer have that as of 2 weeks ago, and that is amazing. So I guess point number one is that not having this physical thing that's attached to me all the time means that I am not thinking about it all the time. I'm not working my way around it all the time, because there was always something. There was some sensation. There was some. It was just an obstruction. It was just there, and it restricted my movements. It restricted my ability to be yawn and to be able to breathe deeply, because there was a tube that was going through outside of me, through a rib, through my rib cage, and as a result of that, it restricted my ability to be able to expand my rib cage, which means that every time I would yawn, try to yawn, or breathe, like to breathe deeply, I just had like restricted movements, and not only that, every time I would move, there would be friction with the tube and this hole, this wound, really, at this on my side. So, like, not having that anymore means that I don't feel those things anymore. I don't have to. I can breathe deeply again. I could yawn without knowing that it's just not gonna, like, my body isn't just gonna stop itself from fully yawning and stuff like that. So that's been really, really great. And I can walk. It yeah, it was really strange. It's like adding something to your body that would mean that you have to sort of like work around it in order to figure out your new movements moving forward. And walking was one of them, because it was strapped to my side, and the bile bag would get full, and it would get heavy, and the heavier it would get, the more friction there would be, blah blah blah. I mean, it was just not pleasant. It wasn't great. And in some ways it was something that sort of started this part of my journey for me, because it was so it was put in about a week after I was originally diagnosed. And the fact that, as of 2 weeks ago, I no longer have this external drain is just been sort of like this another new chapter, which I'm really very thankful for. Just in case you're wondering, what ended up having happen is that there is now a metal stent that has been put in, and the stent creates space for the bile to be able to move through my body, and so my body itself is working and dealing with the bile, as opposed to the bile having to get removed. And I had to do that previously because I was jaundiced, which is what led to my diagnosis. And I needed to get my bilirubin number down in order for me to be able to start treatment. A lot of different reasons for why I had it. But now, a few months in, it was decided that it was possible to put that stent in, or to try to put that stent in. That's been successful, so it's been great. Yeah, so that was a long sort of one thing about it that's changed. The second thing, I no longer have to worry about draining bile from a bile bag 3 or 4 times a day, because that's how much bile would get collected in the bile bag that I had externally strapped to my leg. And not only would it get heavy, there's a smelliness that's connected to it. Although other people say that they didn't necessarily smell it, but I felt like it was an odor that I can kind of detect. And ever since it's gotten colder, the bag strapped to my leg would also, like, not only would it be heavy, like, it would get cold. So this wasn't pleasant. And also, we're all staying home right now, and I'm home for the most part, but every so often, like Joe and I would go for a drive or whatever it is. But I would always have to worry about not getting too far, being away too long, because the bile bag would have to be drained. So that's number two, something that's changed I don't have to worry about, which has been really, really great. So happy about that. The third point I have listed out here. Um, yeah, I mean so much changed for me, as I'm sure you can imagine, after being diagnosed in September with the condition that I have. And very shortly after this, this external drain was put in. And there was a point where, like, I looked like the Borg or something, like something, not exactly, but like an android or some kind of, some kind of like weird meta human or something. I don't even know if that makes sense, like a mutant human or something. And it just feels like having it removed feels more like a fuller me, and it's been cool, but it's taken some adjustments because you would think that you would just go right back, right? But it's not true. Like 5 months. So one of the reasons why I hadn't been recording as much or uploading as much is because I was really stressed out about this procedure coming up. Wasn't sure whether it was going to be possible, whether or not it's going to be successful. My previous experiences with interventional radiology weren't pleasant. They were painful, and not always successful, and weird decisions had been made in the past, even though I was questioning them as I was there. And so I already had some reticence about going into another procedure with interventional radiology, but on top of that, I was worried that it wouldn't be possible for the stent to be put in, which might have meant that I was permanently stuck with the external drain. So I was worried and pretty anxious about that up to that point. And then there were a few days of recuperating after that, um, which was, yeah, like that. It was a procedure. It was an invasive procedure. So that didn't feel great. And then right into chemo after that. And the thing that I have noticed is that when I'm in the hospital for chemo, the second injection that I get is for irinotecan, which I've been shown to be allergic to. So before the irinotecan injection, I get a needle that prevents me from actually having a allergic reaction, but it's made me nauseous. The combination of those two things or something makes me nauseous. So I take an anti-nausea pill, and which all contributes to a different kind of a fatigue than I've been used to. So, so to feel, I guess to go back to like point number three about like what it feels like to not have the PTC drain externally anymore. It's just really great to not have like this additional thing that isn't like technically a part of me to have to worry about with all these other things that are going on. So I'm just so thankful that it worked. So thankful that I'm almost to the point where I've incorporated or just done recuperating from that. The drain wound, the tube wound on my side is still healing. I guess, so you have an open wound for 5 months. It takes a little bit of time for it to heal. So that's still in the process of healing. But once that's done, I don't have to worry about dressings. I don't have to worry about, yeah, and that's fantastic. So those are three things. If there are is a subject that you would like me to have 3 points on that you can think of, please be sure to ask them or to suggest them in the comments below. I'd be more than happy to take a stab. And then on that note, I will sign off. thank you so much for joining me. And I'm, you know, can't say enough about how thankful I am for all the support and all the love. So thank you so much. And of course, please have and make sure that you have love and support for yourself, love and care for yourself and those around you. And I send you and your loved ones love and care. And if you have a bit left over, if you can send some my way, it'd be much appreciated. Chef's kiss, chef's kiss. Today, I think I've been craving like a sandwich the last little while. Speaking of chef's kisses, and today I'm looking forward to having a non-pita, garlic non-pita with some roasted turkey, tomatoes, lettuce, a little bit of salt and pepper, mayonnaise, honey garlic, a bit of a wrap, a bit of a sandwich situation. I'm actually looking really forward to having that today. My cravings change all the time. What are you craving right now? I'd love to hear. And I'd love maybe for us to talk about food a little bit more. Okay, too much talking. Take kind care. Take good care. Yeah. And I'll talk to you real soon.